Hit it.
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity.
I'm just going to bitch about this thing the whole time.
The mic? You got to tell the audio listeners what's going on. We're not just on video.
No. I don't want to. Yes, and what?
Those Groundlings classes are really paying off.
I know.
Wait, which improv place did you go to?
It's Jeff Goldblum's place. Yes, and. Do we need to stop so you can change your diaper?
That is... Did you come up with that?
This morning.
Did you really?
I swear to God.
That's
you
pretty,
fucking teed me up. Perfect.
That's pretty fucking good.
Thanks.
I didn't even mean to. I would never do that. I would never tee you up.
We just got really good chemistry, buddy.
Melissa Golden.
That's me.
Yeah, can I call you Mel? Mel G?
Sure. Mel G for short, always.
Stemcelix.org. And we want to have you on. Eric is more of the wellness kind of part of our team here on Sweat Equity. I don't know anything about stem cells except that I think it works from what I've heard. I've only heard like Rogan's interview with Mel Gibson about his dad.
Yeah. No, they're magic. It's the closest thing to a magician we got. So real magician.
What's the deal with it? Because the whole interview I heard, and then there was another guy in Rogan right before that was talking about being the guy in Panama doing the actual stem cell stuff. How does this work? Because I know there's weird things with the United States and stem cells, and how can we do it here?
So everyone has this huge idea in their head of like 90s, Bush, Dolly the sheep, and abortion, and they all kind of go together. And those are called embryonic stem cells. They were made illegal in the 90s. So a lot of people still think that stem cells are illegal, and they're not. So we're not using embryonic stem cells. We're using adult stem cells.
Like second generation Mexicans if you're really racist.
But nope.
Pretty
don't
much.
Look at me.
You know? Thank you. That was just as good as... Yes, that's... It's actually pretty on point. I was trying to think of a metaphor to throw out there, but there's probably a lot of racist people that think a lot of Mexicans shouldn't be there just by looking at them. But that's a 90s thing. All right. All right. So continue, please. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had to interject.
So we're using adult stem cells. Everyone has them. They're stored in your own body. We take them out of an area of storage and we introduce them into an area that's, degenerated or inflamed.
Okay.
But we can do almost all the same stuff that Panama can do in regards to stem cells. We can't, manipulate the sample the way they can.
Okay.
But it's totally legal and everyone has access to it and no one knows about it. They actually think you have to go to Panama or Mexico to get stem cells. You don't.
What?
Isn't it different now that before they thought embryonic stem cells were like the only ones that were going to work, and now it's kind of been discovered that were they somatic? Is that right?
No.
Okay, never mind. The other ones
Swing and a miss.
are also like capable of what the embryonic ones were. Is that right?
Yeah. So
I got
there's
something right.
some terms. There's pluripotent. That's probably a word you've heard before. Embryonic cells are pluripotent, which means they can turn into any type of cell in the body. So think about an embryo. An embryo is the small baby, like in gestation before it turns into a baby.
No, you can talk down to us all you want. Seriously,
So-
don't hiccup. We ask our business attorney to talk to us like we're 5. So there's no difference here. I'm gonna go.
Well, I know that you guys love high school biology, which is why you're talking to me about biology.
Honestly, we find ourselves looking up the things we should have learned in high school a lot of the time, history and science.
No, I'm just now mature enough to go to college.
Right.
To go and show up and study and shit.
Yeah.
Before, no, you were not qualified for that. I wasn't even qualified for that.
Yeah. Who are these children going to college?
Exactly. Why is he wearing Birkenstocks? It's 2002.
Those were a thing.
Me and all the lesbians.
Oh, you were one of those ladies?
Yeah. I drove a Subaru. So wore a hockey jersey to class. All the trappings. So my thing is all right, so explain it. You can explain it to I'm the dumbest common denominator. You can keep explaining it that way. So baby.
Okay,
things that make baby.
All right. So there's
how are
an
babies
embryo. There's an embryo, right? Embryonic stem cells come from that embryo, which is a baby in gestation in a belly.
Okay.
Those are pluripotent, which means they can turn into any type of human cell. right? Which makes them super crazy cool for regeneration.
Okay.
But as adults, we have multipotent stem cells. There's another vocab word, which means it can turn into lots of different cells, but they can't turn into every type of cell. So what we're using are multipotent adult stem cells.
Gotcha. It's like a skeleton key of cells, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, like pluripotent only works in, it's only one kind of thing. What's pluri mean?
Pluri means a lot or many.
Plur, the what is the thing that comes before the word?
Well,
that section, that usually means
pluripotent-
multiple.
I know, but I'm saying, look, I don't know.
You like how I corrected your grammar and couldn't think of the word I wanted to
Yeah,
say?
nice.
Just want to point it out.
It's like a fat guy giving me jogging tips. It's
And then saying he's fat
yeah,
afterwards.
but I got I got
Give me credit.
hypertension. The my thing was I didn't know if it meant like because pluripotent. My brain got stuck at that sounds like a weird potpourri. Like that's that's why I have to like kind of sometimes ask the same question a couple times. Wait, hold on, I got stuck because I have ADD on this bad joke.
I'll give you this simple rundown of what a stem cell is.
Okay.
Okay. So you're made up of cells. Do you remember that from high school biology?
I do.
Okay, so we're all made up of cells. We have hair cells and lung cells and brain cells and kidney cells, right? We're all on the same page? Okay, when those cells divide, they can only make clones of each other. So when a kidney cell divides, it makes more kidney cells. That's it. Same thing with heart cells and everything else. A stem cell is a very special cell that when it divides, it can turn into another stem cell, or it can turn into one of those other types of cells, right? So kidney cell, cartilage cell, tendon cell, that makes them regenerative. And their jobs are to combat cell death, which basically means regenerate, and to reduce inflammation. Those are their two main jobs.
Yeah.
So that's why they're so quote unquote magical, because they're the only things regenerating tissue. And you have them in your body all the time doing work right now. You'd be dead within a few weeks without them.
Right.
So what are you studying or whatever, anything in particular in the body? Hair maybe regrowth?
So there's a lot of people doing
Asking for a friend.
hair
Yeah.
restoration with stem cells. It is a long process, and depending on the severity of the problem, sometimes a hair transplant is your better option. But stem cells have been shown. It depends. You know, a medical person needs to make that determination.
I choose not to hear that.
He thinks you're a medical person that can make that decision right now. What is there? Elon Musk did what? He had to have done that, right? He didn't do a hair transplant.
Really?
Have you seen it? Pull up an old picture of Elon Musk.
I don't want to mess with the internet.
Yeah, we're having tech difficulties to get this show off the ground. But if you look at
He's got a noticeable hair growth.
it's like Travolta.
Well, Steve Carell did it. Remember Old Office Steve
Oh,
Carell?
yeah, I do remember
But I don't
that.
know that he did stem cell. I'm pretty sure he just did a hair transplant, and it looks very nice.
Yeah, it seems like everybody, unless it's been like the last couple of years, it had to have been a transplant.
So
I mean,
the
it wasn't
hair
really...
transplantation surgery's changed a lot. They don't cut that strip out of the back of your head anymore. They actually pluck individual follicles out and then like make a little incision and plant them up here.
And you got to sit there while they do it.
Yeah. It actually, I've
You
seen
can just
some
listen
really
to the
good results.
podcast over and over again.
I'd rather just be bald.
You don't want to
Just
get a
go-
boner in front of the doctor? Okay, got it. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
See, the dick jokes.
We can move
We did
on
a
from the hair.
pre-production kind of interview while we were waiting. I said that the dick jokes we don't really plan out; they just happen. They just flow from our core.
Yeah.
Good. Speaking of which, anything in that area with stem cells?
Yes, actually.
Bam!
Have you? Yeah. So
Woo!
I was hoping I'd get this
Give me a Ric Flair.
opportunity today.
I don't like it when you tell me to do it.
Give me a Ric Flair, please. All right. What's it called?
called the P
what
shot.
what can we do?
So we have stem cell, and we also have PRP. These are both things that you can inject into the penis. And the penis is just a
Whoa.
sponge.
Hold on. a
I
second.
know, it's an injection. Listen, the penis is just a sponge.
I thought we were talking
Stay
about
with
the
me.
gut.
Stay on the non-perversion, okay?
Don't worry. I'm trying not to wince.
Right?
Yeah.
And then blood vessels make little holes like a sponge, right? So the more blood the penis can hold, the bigger, stronger, longer, better erection ejaculation is, right?
Like
so
a-
it's just blood flow.
Like a good water balloon, in a way. Like you can
Like a
you
sponge.
can max it out, and then you got to tie a knot on it.
Is it the same consequences?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So we
Yeah,
we can,
the more blood, is it thinner? It's presumably thinner skin, I guess. I don't know.
No,
I-
that's
no,
just,
no,
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 just
dummy.
as fun, right? So we use stem cells to regrow new blood vessels. They're angiogenic. That means they can create new blood vessels.
Gotcha.
And then we can, create more blood flow into the penis.
That's
I need
great.
a boing.
Yeah.
you
sound
do
effect.
need one of
Can't
those.
believe I never thought of that.
Yeah. I've got a lot of questions, but I don't want to divert this all into Dick Joke Alley. So we'll try to keep it above board for your sake. If anybody is curious and maybe want to talk to you about this stuff, what's the most common things people ask you about stem cell?
Hair and dick,
just-
probably.
No, actually not.
No.
They ask if it can regrow cartilage.
Okay.
So the majority of the stuff that we do is orthopedic, and we've all been told these silly things like, once your cartilage is gone, it's gone forever. And once your nerves are messed up, they're dead forever.
Like our friend JB Ball, his basketball player, I want him to have a show called Ballin' with JB Ball, a night show. Ballin', but he's been on the podcast. If you want to go back in the archives, but he's got two knees that are just like no cartilage. Just in my head, they just rub like this, like two knuckles against each other, two fist knuckles against each other. For the audio listeners, not for you.
I thought you were directing it at me.
Well, I'm making the gesture, and then I realized, people
Bone on bone.
listen to this
Yes.
than watch it, probably. So, I'm trying to say that you can help with that. If
Absolutely.
there's nothing there.
Yeah, so there's actually no such thing as literal bone on bone. It's a term that we use to tell you how severe the problem is, right? So when you look at a knee X-ray, because we all look at those all the time, normally there's a little thin piece of black, right? And that's your cartilage, that's your meniscus.
Okay.
And on an X-ray, once it starts to wear down, it really does look like the bones are touching bone on bone. So it's just like a general term we use, but it's never actually bone on bone. You'd pass out from excruciating pain for weight bearing. It just doesn't happen.
So Willis McGahee, who had probably the grossest knee injury of all time, or Deshaun Livingston, was the Clippers guy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when you see that? They have like no they still have cartilage in their knee, even though Willis McGahee's knee went
Yeah,
essentially
that was
backwards like a grasshopper.
I remember where I was that night.
Same here.
It's weird.
I was at Dan DePury's house watching the game.
Traumatized.
Yeah. It was like my 9/11. But it was.
I wasn't going to say it. You said it.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll say all the terrible things for you. We are like mentalists like that. But I would say like that's interesting. Is there any other kind of fallacies like that? Because I don't even know that I thought that was a real thing. The bone on bone for knees or anything. Elbow, tennis elbow, or whatever.
Yeah, so there's no such thing as bone on bone, and stem cells can regrow new cartilage. They're extremely chondrogenic. So there's a ton of research that you can read about that. So it's actually one of my favorite things to tell people, like, hey, you can't actually be bone on bone. It's like a fun fact.
And you're good at explaining this stuff. Like it reads through that you're passionate about it. How'd you get into this?
That is a long story.
Good. We have time. This is a podcast.
No, it's way too long to tell. But really, it was just I was in a clinic. We were doing functional medicine, and someone said, "How can we get these patients better faster?" And we were like, "We could do stem cells." And everyone was like, "What? What? No way! No way!" And started talking about Bush and Dolly the sheep and all this.
What
stuff.
year is this? What we're talking?
2012, 2013.
Okay.
And then before we knew it, we had paid for the training, bought the equipment, did a first round of patients, and the results were so phenomenal. We did another round of patients. It was like, it must have been fake. Like, we read the papers, like, 93 to 95% success rate. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And all the patients just got better so fast, and they were loving it, and it was amazing. We stopped doing everything else that we were doing and just focused entirely on stem cells.
Wow, I didn't expect that kind of answer. I thought you'd say you were interested in it, found this company or this clinic, so it came from the ground up. That's really intriguing. And y'all, presumably same kind of handful of people, it sounds like, that are still passionate about it or kind of still working on it, or?
So the partnership dissolved with that other clinic, and that's how Stemcel came to be.
Okay. Well, look, we talk about that's the nature of business. We wanted to make sure we kind of get some general information about stem cell. I want to hear about your plight, but also there's a business to this, and you've got a big stigma issue, I'm sure, to deal with. Like Dumbos like us didn't know that you could do so much stuff.
I knew it.
I didn't know anything about it.
Learned it this morning, but
Well,
Still counts.
What's going on with that? I mean, like, what are you fighting against? I feel like you're going to fight against a PR kind of thing for a while, just because we just don't. There's too much. Look, there's too much shit we're paying attention to that's garbage. Like, I've never cared about celebrity news, but I seem to get it all the time. People tell me about it. I don't give a shit. I've never asked for it. I've never cared about a Kardashian once, and somehow I know way.
I really do.
It's fine.
I try not to.
Look,
but
you're
I
on it.
really
You're being
do.
honest, though. There's some people.
As long as you're honest.
Like,
Yeah.
what's the new baby's name? Like, I gotta know.
Look, I can waste time in other areas that is just as like flippant. You know, like I don't. It adds no value to your life. From that is what it looks like to me. I'm saying, my thing is like. You're going to be kind of going into a fragmented attention span era, which an opinion over fact era, and
Is that a fact?
Does it matter?
if I say it emphatically, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
It is a fact. Now it's a fact.
Well, we
'Cause
talk.
I've declared it so.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. We talk in shorthand a lot of the time on this show in absolutes, and obviously some things are opinions. But when we're trying to give advice for pragmatic advice for business stuff, it's kind of like this is the way, but we know it's not black and white.
Mm-hmm.
There's gray area in everything, and I think it's interesting that we live in this weird. I'm gonna cherry pick what science I appreciate, and not in that kind of.
I don't need
society.
science.
My favorite
Opinion.
word in the whole world is research. So everybody I talk to about stem cell has done so much research. And it's funny to me that we don't actually know what that word means anymore. We think that we read 3 articles, 5 paragraphs each. I did research. I'm now an expert. And it's so weird because we just have access to all this information, which is not verified on Google. And I have to be like, okay, well, I actually have done research. There's a scientific process that you have to do. You have to prove a hypothesis.
And you
Do you remember
scientists are dicks about it because you guys want to put your flag on everything.
No, because did you do that research or did you read some words that might have been someone else's opinion?
I know, but you got another fight within this fight of the research part. We had our buddy Christian Reddy on, and he was explaining to us that everybody wants to put their stank on it. Like,
He's a scientist too.
he's a cancer research scientist,
FYI.
and he was saying that he's also a comedian. I could have just said comedian, and they'd been
Why?
like, what?
Who cares what he says?
He's Indian. No, that's cool. He's Indian. He's fine. But I'm saying like he was basically explaining like they have more ego than comics about like material, which is crazy to me. Like,
I thought of that. That was my original thought. How dare you?
well,
Intellectual property.
hack premise, similar thinking, parallel thoughts. But my thing was like I didn't realize that. I get it. You have to have some ego to do this kind of research, right? To go to basically thwart whatever's going on in the status quo and go. I think that's wrong. I'm going to do a study on it, or I have a theory. I have a hypothesis.
Or I'm going to save the world.
Yeah.
That's what you all really think, isn't it?
And then it's
I wake up every day.
And then it's the
There
most
you go.
boring
Change the world.
thing. Have you ever looked
okay.
at one of those? The abstract is like, oh my god.
Listen to
fucking kill
me. So patients come in and they're like, well, where's the research? I'm like, well, if you go to our website, there's this whole article called Research Article. There's a tab called Research Articles, and you could read till your heart's content. But 90% of people will read 3 sentences in this and go, wow, I did research. That was hard. And they're not going to read the whole thing because it's awful. It's the most boring thing in the whole world to read unless you're me, and I like it.
Yeah. Decision has been made. 3 sentences.
That is the cutoff.
So is there anything these things can't do? Stem cells?
Yeah. So there's plenty of things they can't do. I like to tell people about the limitations because they get this whole magic pill kind of stigma attached to it. So if you have a torn ligament or a torn tendon and it is completely torn, like not hanging on by a thread, stem cells can't fix that. It has no attachment point, right? So
Okay.
what's it going to do? So it's on opposite sides of your knee, and now it's just going to grow back together. That doesn't make logical sense, right? So
Sure. I mean,
Surgeon could tape it together and then you do your injection thingy?
yeah,
Is that
well,
what? Do they do that?
So there are stem cells for post-surgery, and we refer to orthopedic surgeons all the time because if you have a congenital deformity, let's say you have a patellar tilt, your knee is tilted, it's wrong, okay? Stem cells aren't going to fix your tilt. They're just going to make your wrongness stronger, right? So they're going to, avert back to the original anatomy.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
Their swag.
So, I like that you're leaning that way. This is another one.
Legacy swag.
People have like bulging disc and herniated disc, but their spine looks like an S. And we go, no amount of stem cells injected into that vertebrae are going to help you until you straighten out your spine. And guess what? Stem cells can't straighten out your spine. You need a rod and cage and pins and screws to do that. So there's definitely limitations.
So stem cells mainly for muscle, cartilage, not bone. I don't know. You're shaking your head like, no. You didn't get any of this.
So you can't, if you're deformed.
No, I got that.
Like bow-leggedness. If we inject stem cells into your bow legs, they're not going to go back to normal legs. Like
so
you're
it needs
still
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't make new structure.
Yeah.
You know,
If I was a pitcher, that it's good for that, right? If I threw out my arm because I was a submarine thrower or something.
Yeah, well, what does that mean? Threw out your arm?
Like super medical term.
Tommy John surgery kind of stuff where
If it's torn, that's what she's saying. If it's completely torn,
completely ripped.
Yeah.
Not completely ripped though.
I like to normally I rip a piece of paper.
We don't believe in paper in this office.
no, that's good paper.
I
Don't do that
paper.
one.
No, that.
She changed the page. So it's all my good notes.
No, we're kidding. That's our Bluetooth paper, by the way.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you told me about this.
yeah.
I'm ripping it. Sorry to everyone. So here's let's say this is your meniscus.
Okay.
Super great, right?
Uh-huh.
Intact. We tear it.
Okay.
Uh-oh. That's bad. It's flopping around. Oh no, what are we gonna do? We can use stem cells. We can fix this right up.
Okay.
As soon as it's a full thickness tear.
Yeah.
Full thickness tear.
Uh-huh.
Can't do anything about it. You got to go to surgery.
I actually get this a lot better now.
Okay.
I was gonna say, did you not get it before and now you get it?
I'm worried
You
about
needed to see it.
I'm worried about the next question.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm busy hosting.
Yeah. Someone's got to move this thing along. You know, someone's got to drive this. Yeah. And what you were talking about with the research thing, we've talked about imposter syndrome on this podcast a lot with a friend of the program, Alex Abel, and then the other side of that is the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is you watch YouTube videos, you think you know everything about what you just watched, and like the subject matter, and I think you deal with a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting how we're in that era. I feel like imposter syndrome a lot of the time. Sometimes, if you're like, no, this is the way, kind of stuff. But maybe that it might not be me as much as it is. Our stuff's not deterministic where people think it is, and I think you deal with that too.
Yeah.
Life isn't deterministic, right? This is what I've been kind of thinking about a lot. Everybody thinks you can plan and plan and plan. You can do all these things, and it should be X, and that's not how it is.
Never is.
It can be probable. It can have a high confidence rate. Coefficient of variances. Yeah. It can have a high R.
Stats
I went to
words.
college.
It could have a high R squared.
Reading a course listing.
My confidence rate's pretty good, guys. So I would say, so as a business, because we got enough time to talk business stuff. What's the challenge with this business as far as you're obviously passionate about it. You obviously know your stuff. That's huge. I think you have to, in a thing where you're kind of swimming uphill, consider it being a disruptor business, because you kind of are in a way. I'm sure there's pressure from, not like there's mafia, like health, like.
I'll keep my political
Gonna need
views out of
those
this.
cells.
Well, you think there's stuff at a bigger level? You can say whatever you want. I don't care. This is an actual safe space. You can say whatever you want. But
It's the space out there that's not safe after you say it.
depends. I'm not
right
scared
now when you say it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
once we put it
it's-
out.
Yeah.
It's a legislative nightmare to try to control something that's in your body, right? So currently there's like this whole thing about FDA. Oh, well, stem cells aren't FDA approved. Well, I'll have you know that the FDA stands for the Food and Drug Administration. So
Right.
you're telling me that your stem cells are a drug? Most people will disagree that they're a drug. However, once we take them out of the body and there's, it's governed by the boards of medicine, the practice of medicine. Now it's this, it's weird because before everything we injected was a medicine or a drug and it should be controlled as such. But now it's like, well, it's not a drug. Well, what is it? There's
Yeah.
no box for that.
Yeah.
And when they're trying to make laws and like deal with this problem. And then insurance billing is just, there's a code for that. I know the code for that. Like specificity codes, like down to like knee pain. They have like 8 different knee pains, right? Is
Yeah.
it localized knee pain, acute knee pain, chronic knee pain? Like, and they don't have a code for it.
What do you think it's a public or big private issue that like when who do you think is going to kind of get to this first? Because I feel like a private health insurance would, it's weird. Health insurance is funky in the way that they have to rely on the public part of it.
It's weird because if you're getting
And it's a
better,
pool of money.
It's not like, they're not going to have that long game of, people keep getting sick. You need to keep
I think the
churning
same thing
them sort
too,
of thing.
but you sound like conspiracy theorists when you say it out loud to people, and they're like, "Well, come
it's
on,
not
that's
a
not their thing." And
conspiracy.
it's
It's-
like, well, no, it's
That's how their business is set up.
I just
let's
think
call
that
lifetime
people-
value of a client, right? That's
Yeah.
what we
People
look at.
forget that healthcare is a business. They go, "Oh, I went to the hospital. They took care of me. Thank God I'm not dead." And we
Yeah.
go, "Yay!" But then you get a $40,000 bill for being in the ER, and they go, "Guess that's the way it is." No, it doesn't. It
Guess I'll
doesn't.
avoid the hospital next time.
Yeah.
Right?
That's all that does.
So it's bizarre that people don't actually see healthcare establishments as a business unless they have to pay cash, right? If you have to pay cash for it, now you're a business, and they get a little, customer service oriented. Like, what kind of guarantee do I get for this?
Well, like a
kind
lot
thing.
of people. So the audience for this show is mainly, the idea of the show is for the people that are doing their side thing or want to do that thing they really want to do while they're stuck in the 9 to 5, or they're already there. They just need some kind of oomph around them. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs have the catastrophic health insurance, if any health insurance at all.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where I've talked to a lot of startups lately that we've been doing discovery meetings with and whatnot. I'm like, so let's go over some basic personal stuff for y'all. Do you have health insurance? Because you may need that just in case. Because if you're knocked out, your whole business is out. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another $800 a month to get the actual health insurance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be, twofold or whatever
Well,
on top of what you're paying.
I think part of the way I would view from a business standpoint or from a value added standpoint, if for Stemcel, if I had something that y'all could fix through stem cells, I would just look at that as, this will improve my life, thus improve work, thus make more money to capitalize on that.
That's hard, but you're also in that entrepreneurial space, right? So most of the public in the United States go, insurance pays for my healthcare, cool. And when you ask them to pay out of pocket for healthcare, they go, what, why, who? And they have all these questions now that they didn't have before, but now that their insurance doesn't cover it, they're like, well, and it's a paradigm shift that is just so hard to wrap your mind around. So our older patients, we get quite a bit of, seniors, degenerative issues, osteoarthritis, those sorts of things. And they go, well, I served in Vietnam. Like, why do I have to pay for health care? And I'm like, I don't think that you should have to pay for health care.
Right.
Unfortunately, you currently have to pay for this health care.
Not the
Right.
time to bring up Nam, sir.
Yeah.
It's the bill.
Charlie is not behind our stethoscopes. Just relax, bro.
So, are people being referred to you by doctors? Is that how it's going, or is it kind of just like, hey, look at this, maybe this might work for you, sort of thing? I'm just curious how somebody gets to you, in besides an ad or whatever, happenstance.
So there's a couple parts of that question. I'll answer the doctor one first. I would love
Wow,
to.
professional. So professional.
Really good.
I would love to establish some
Polished.
relationships with physicians. So we didn't talk about it, but we treat COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, which basically means you can't breathe. And all of those people with COPD should have a pulmonologist, which is a lung doctor. So I have a COPD patient who got such incredible results with Stemcel that he is now playing like 18 holes of golf, and it's really cool. Well, his
Humble
doctor,
brag. Yeah.
his doctor, his pulmonologist, told him not to do stem cell, and it was codswallop, and there wasn't enough research and those sorts of things. And we have a mutual patient now, and I just want to meet this guy and say, I'm not trying to take your patients, dude. I want to help all of your lung patients who can't breathe better, but I haven't really established a lot of those referral relationships with those. We send people to orthopedics, but they don't usually send back to us. So the second part of that question is how do I get my patients? And after August of last year, we decided not to throw any more money at advertising.
Boo. Sorry.
Right. Well, we found that we got a lot of leads and we made a decent return, but it was almost not worth our time to weed through the unqualified candidates and the no call, no shows. So now
we got you for that. Don't worry.
we simply
help
do relationship marketing
Sure.
and grassroots stuff. I do a lot of speaking engagements, and I literally just go get them, bring them in.
You still might be like you don't have a template. That's what we struggle with too. We had to kind of figure out who we're best and it's more personality than it is industry, right? For us, for you, it's really hard to maybe find out who's going to be open-minded, based on just like you were talking about with the healthcare for the code for knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing for a target audience. You're going to have you have a psychology behind your audience that you have to figure out too, to make it a qualified lead.
But it's also super weird when you start talking about qualified leads, because I've worked with tons of digital advertising agencies. They're like, who's your perfect lead? I'm like, well, which niche are we talking about, right? Like, are we doing orthopedic? Are we doing pulmonary, autoimmune,
that gives
anti-aging?
me so much confidence in what we're doing, because we don't do it that way. We just go, let's talk about like what's a good, what's your, we kind of break it up: home runs, triples, singles, doubles. Like, who's your ultimate one like that? But we know it's not the same thing, and it might be defined by how you can get to them or what message you can send to them.
Right.
So sometimes they're interchangeable.
Real quick before we have to go, what's the worst case scenario if somebody gets stem cells? Like a doctor says, don't do it. There's not enough research. Is he thinking that you're going to grow an ear out of your knee, or what is he thinking?
I have heard the ear out of your knee thing probably a dozen times. Who started that rumor? So
The what?
Was it those two body parts?
No, someone said it. So embryonic stem cells can turn into any type of stem cells. We don't use those.
Those
They're
are the
illegal in
baby
the US.
ones?
Those are the baby ones.
Good.
So there were some things reported, not sure if true or untrue. So your stem cells cannot hurt you. Okay? There's been no adverse reactions associated with stem cells themselves. However, anytime you undergo a medical procedure, there's risks of a medical procedure, right? So anytime you cut the skin, whether it be to get your blood drawn or as big as, an actual surgery, there's a risk of infection.
Sure.
And then there's, risk of like bruising, itchiness, swelling, adverse reactions to local anesthetic. Those are the risks that are associated with it, but it's not.
Nothing
stem
abnormal.
cells can't hurt you. Yeah.
Okay.
The guy from Nom's not scared
Good to
of any of
know.
that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. The guy that went to Nom's like, just rub some dirt on it and you figure it out.
Worst thing,
You're like, sir,
it doesn't help you as much as you wanted it to. But with a 93 to 95% success rate, I
what the fuck?
think I'll take my chances.
That's a big number. That
So
is
you
a
have to be
big number.
You have to be frustrated like I get with what we're doing in the same direction where you go, God, this isn't everything by any means, but it's so successful. And is that frustrating for you that you can't get the word out more and more? Like, you can do a podcast in here, by the way.
What's bananas to me is that people will be like, I don't know, I think surgery might be safer. What?
Yeah.
You really signed that you could die? Like, you signed that waiver?
Try
and you're
the
like,
easy
probably
one first.
safer. So recently on my Facebook page, my Melissa Golden, just my personal Facebook page, I post stuff, and I posted a picture of a surgery. So it had, the knee opened up. And
I was about to like it, and then I don't know now.
So it was just, it was like the knee opened up, and I was like, you could do this, or you could do this. And it got flagged for being inappropriate graphic content.
Really?
I was like, sorry, Facebook. I thought it was okay for people to know what they were signing up for when they were having knee surgery.
Yeah, you can go through us next time if you want to do that. So even with organic stuff, because we have agency credit. There's like how Uber has a Uber drivers have you have one as a passenger. You have a star rating.
Yeah,
Mine's amazing.
We kind of have that for online
How
ads.
do you find your Uber star rating?
You got to
It's
ask
on your
them.
Uber app.
Oh,
It's
it
in there
is?
now. I
you
saw it
can
the other
see
day.
it?
Yeah.
You used to have to ask them back in the day.
They were lying to you.
What
you know-
about my sweat
Sorry.
equity?
That's all the time we
I don't
have.
want you to be late.
Yeah, you got to hard out.
Look at that, 229. Boom.
Thanks for coming on.
SweatEquityPod.com.
Stemcelix
Check it out.
with IX, stemcelix.org.
Sweat equity.